Loud. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to this Saturday training. Today is September 7th, and I'm Roger Broberg. I'm filling in for Ron McCain. He sent me a text last night, said he was in a bind for today. He has a parent day at college, I think with his daughter, and asked if I would be available to do training, and I said sure. So last night I worked on a few slides and put together a few things, and this morning I got up early. I got up at 6 o'clock. I exercised, went outside and finished picking one of my pear trees, and now here we are doing training. Oh, I did have my shake just now, so I'm hopefully going to be on my game as best as I can be. So let's maybe go out to everybody and let's hear what's going on in your business, what's happening with everybody.
Oh, I love the GIF, Roger. That's awesome. Who's excited? We are definitely excited here in Southern California. Lots going on. Actually, fun to share now, although we can talk about it more later. But we're having a CBD hemp Tuesday night party, so it's just been fun creating conversation with people and sharing more. And just seeing who's excited. I have a friend that actually had reached out to me with some stuff that she's been going through, and somebody had been talking about Relive 2 for a very long time, and just, being a friend and help with weight loss. And then turns out that her sister can really use the products, and she's excited for both of them. So I don't know, just a lot going on over here that plenty to be excited about.
Well, that's awesome. And I appreciate that. And I think that's great that you're doing a CBD meeting. We're looking at doing some of those here, and I'm glad to hear that you guys are doing it. So it kind of means that we're on the right track, I think, hearing that you're doing it. So great. Anybody else like to share?
Hey, this is Quila. Not anything too major, but a customer that we had started at the beginning of the month ended up getting a quick start, so that was fun.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that you're moving ahead and you got a quick start going, and that's awesome. I'd like to share something. I have a customer that's been doing Relive for a couple of years. He's kind of a gruff mechanic, and he's not actively out doing the business, but he's pretty active at doing the business because he tells people how good this is working for him, and he's got he's got 3 or 4 customers that he gets Relive for. And his wife has been very, very negative, very won't even try anything, and she keeps taking him to the doctor, and the doctor keeps telling him that he's improving, keep doing what you're doing. And Rick will say, doctor, could you repeat that one more time for my wife? And so anyway, so she's been really negative. Well, when the balm came out, he bought a jar of balm from me, and his wife has some shoulder problems, and I think it's a foot problem. Anyway, she rubbed it on both her foot and her shoulder, and the pain went away. And he keeps checking with her, well, how's the pain? Don't have any, it's been great. And so her using the CBD balm has led her now to, she came to Rick the other day and had one of the shaker cups in her hand, and she says, "How much do you think I ought to take of the powder?" And so he helped her get started with that. And, you know, it's just kind of fun to see the different ways that people get into this, whether it's through CBD or whether it's through the nutrition products. I think they both lead back to each other. Who else would like to share something? This guy's making me dizzy. Anyone? Okay, we'll move on then. Okay, so one thing that I think it's Quila that I've heard say this before, that facts tell and stories sell. And if you think back to the first time you heard about Relive, it was the stories that probably caught your attention, whether it was business stories or whether it was a health story. It was probably a story that caught your attention. I know that it was for me. And so I thought that it would be a good thing to maybe practice a little bit with our stories and sharpen those up. I know that the Laird group down in California, that they do this quite a bit. And so I would, let's see, I'm going to pick on, how did that go back to there? Go away. He makes me dizzy. Let's see I'm going to pick on some people here. Renee Campbell, let's pick on you. Renee, would you come on and would you share a 60-second story?
Oh boy, I haven't done.
I know I caught you off guard. I'm sorry.
You did.
But I know you've done Relive for a long time, and I know you have a great story.
I have. So our story started with our daughter, who was really struggling with acid reflux, to the point it would come out her nose at times. And there was some young men at school who had been taking Relive and shared with their parents, and our daughter got amazing results after we started on these products. She was struggling with sleeping and breathing, and she was a senior in high school, very stressed, and so the acid reflux was bad. She got it under control, and she is still taking Relive to this day, and that's been 14 years, I think. It's been a long time. Our family loves Relive and will never quit taking it.
That's awesome. You were less than a minute, and what a great story to have your daughter have that go on. And the thing that I liked about your story too, Renee, is I know you guys have had more results than that, but you focused on one thing, and you were able to share that in less than a minute. And the longer you're in Relive, the more results you're going to have. But if you share all of those results, it's not going to stay under a minute. And so that was great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's go to Christina. Christina, I'm going to pick on you. Are you there, Christina? She's not there. Okay, so we'll pick on her upline. Lauren Laird, would you come on?
I was just about to say she might be at work and running to find a quiet place to share, but I'm happy to. Hi, everyone. My name is Lauren Laird. I live in Garden Grove, California, and I work at Disneyland. And Relive found me, a little over 10 years ago through my husband's parents, who got phenomenal health results. And my husband saw this as a business opportunity. he thought as a way to share this with other people and earn some extra money on the side. What we weren't expecting were health results. I thought I was young. I thought I was healthy. I didn't really think I needed this stuff. But as I heard these stories, I heard the word prevention, and that just made sense to me because my dad had a stroke and Robert's mom had a stroke. So taking Relive consistently, I realized I wasn't as healthy as I thought I was, noticed more energy, stronger immune system, not dealing with muscle soreness and fatigue at Disneyland. I feel absolutely great, and I'm just so thankful, and I will never stop taking Relive.
Awesome, Lauren. And I hope you guys noticed what she said that she wanted Relive for. It was for prevention. I think about my automotive business, and if I excluded 70% of my customers, my business would not be what it is that way. Prevention, 70% of people that take supplements, there's somebody shuffling through papers, a drawer, or something that isn't muted. If you could mute, that'd be awesome. But 70% of people that take supplements take it for prevention. And if we exclude people that want it for prevention or don't talk about prevention, you guys were excluding a majority of our market. So, I mean, don't just focus on sick people. It's kind of easy to get into that trap to focus on sick people. So prevention, like I say, is a huge portion of the market. And don't be afraid to promote that. And what a great story, Lauren. Thank you so much for coming on. Christina, did you get to a quiet spot? Maybe not. Let's see if there's anybody else that I can pick on here.
Hello?
Ooh, hi there. Who's this, Christina?
Yeah.
Hey, Christina. Could you come on and share a 1-minute story? We're working on stories here for a minute.
So sorry. I was trying to unmute, but hello, everybody. My name is Christina Ginden. I'm a dancer at Disneyland. I have, funny enough, gone home for the weekend where I take a 45-minute plane trip, and it's been really nice to be able to sleep on the plane. But beforehand, today I actually, TSA kind of pulled me aside and asked me what this thing in a can is, and I said it's Relive. It helps me with my asthma. And they were like, oh, that's cool. And funny enough, somebody else overheard, and that just is how easy it is to share this stuff. You just share what it's done for you.
Well, that's awesome. And that's great that you turned a TSA deal into a contact. That's super great. I've only been TSA'd, I think, once, maybe twice for having Relive either in my carry-on or in my luggage. And that's great that you were able to do that. Good job.
Thanks.
Is there anyone else that would like to come on and share their story?
Hey, Roger. I don't need to go through my story, but I do want to share that most people think that when you get older in the traditional world that you get sicker. Oh, by the way, and there's a lot of background noise that we can hear at our end. I don't know if you're hearing it too. But here's the thing. Oh, thanks, Roger. So here's my point, and I know that some of us are getting older, and as when you get older, you're supposed to have arthritis, you're supposed to be slowing down, everything's supposed to start decaying, basically. And what's happened to me being on these products now, 28 years, going on 29 years, I think, back in 1981. So here's the thing, is that my triglycerides last year dropped, well, not last year, but a few months ago, they dropped 50 points in the last year. How can that be? I mean, I've been going to just, normal physicals, and blood work continues to improve, and that we're bucking the trend. We don't have to be like everyone else. Our bodies are meant to live a long, long time. And if we take care of them and do the right things, we will continue to improve. I would have never thought that, different products that we continue to introduce and the way that we take them would make a difference, but it does. And so that's just what I wanted to share. It's not about me. It's just that the benefits that you get the longer that you're on this, and you don't have to be riddled with arthritis and all those other things that people get that are, quote unquote, our age.
That's awesome. And I was telling Brenda this morning before everybody got on that I just turned 61 and I'm on no medications. I got up at 6 o'clock this morning. I exercised for about a half an hour, and then I went outside and picked pears, climbing up and down a ladder, climbing up in a tree, leaning this way and that way. And for me to be doing that and feel great and feel like I'm in my 20s or 30s, like you say, it's just amazing to have these products and to feel better rather than worse. And I see people that are my age all the time that are having all sorts of health issues. And I feel very blessed that I was able to find this and for the results that I've got. Thanks for sharing, Quila.
Oh, thanks, Roger. I don't know what we're supposed to feel like, but I'm glad I don't feel like everyone else.
That's right. So,
hey, Roger.
Sometimes, go ahead.
So this is Brenda. I just kind of have a comment. I just want to say how important the stories are. When I was diagnosed with hyperthyroid, I was able to connect with another distributor, Annette Wells, who had the same thing. And for, obviously I had heard her story, and but we connected at conference, and she really gave me some wonderful advice and direction and a way to tweak my products, and it did make a huge difference for me. And my doctor couldn't believe what was going on. He told me I was going to need to be on this medication for 2 years or more, and I was on like less than 6 months, and and that's looking at my blood work and stuff. And then recently, another person, I also have type 2 diabetes, and for the most part, I'm doing so much better. But tweaking again my products, and I'm telling you, Fiber Store is like so amazing. But another distributor took time to visit with me and share his story, and I went into my last doctor's appointment, and my A1C had dropped 5 points. And so it's, the stories, not only do they sell, they can change things because it gives you an avenue of what's worked for someone else, and to maybe try, changing up just a little bit to see if that can make a difference for you. And so I'm grateful to both of these people for sharing their story with me and making such a difference in my life.
Absolutely. And you bring up a super good point that the stories, not only get people interested in the beginning, but they also help people to take the products correctly and to, like you said, tweak what they're doing. I did a call this last week, and the person had said that they didn't need convincing. And the first thing that I said was that these stories are not, and these calls are not to convince as much as they are to help people to take the products correctly and learn how to use the products to get their best results for them, and that it's about them. It's not about us. So I'd like to move on to a chance bump into story, and you want to have those stories even shorter, maybe a one-liner, maybe just does not look like it's spelled right for some reason to me. You want to pique their interest, and your goal here is to get their contact info, not just to give them a business card, because I used to say I have never heard of anybody that's called when you've given them their business card, but I actually did hear of one situation where they actually called, so I can't say that anymore, but it almost never happens. So make sure to get their info so that you can contact them. You're not trying to do a presentation in the grocery line. All you're trying to do is pique their interest and maybe get their contact info. So if this were me and I was in a grocery line and I said, hey, how you doing? And they said, oh, I'm good. How are you? I'd say, you know what? I am so much better now. I used to have pain in the bottom of my foot, and it would just be excruciating, like a 6 or 7 on the pain scale. And now I don't have any pain. And, you know, invariably that's going to lead to, well, what did you do? What are you doing now? Can I get some information about it? So I don't know if anybody would like to share I call them elevator stories. Does anybody have a quick elevator story that they would like to share as far as what they say to people when they meet them? Okay, well, I've kind of given you an example there. You guys remember that. Go ahead.
Oh, well, it's Quila. So you just want a story of what we would say to somebody that we don't know.
Exactly. You meet like in the grocery line or on an elevator or whatever.
Well, my one that I like, and other people have used it and it works, is just at Costco. And when you go over into the vitamin area and, you know, you're looking, so many people have their, you know, their index finger on their chins and they're always going, and they're looking at things. And I'll do it and I'll basically just walk down the aisle and I go, man, I'm so glad I don't have to worry about that anymore. And sometimes people listen, sometimes people don't. But sometimes I'll just keep doing it until someone does. And most people say, what do you mean? I say, oh, you know what? I used to take tons of pills, but, you know, I don't have to worry about that. I just take one product, and I absolutely love it. And then I'll just kind of keep walking. And literally, you'll have people that will say, what? What is it? And I'll say, oh, you know, it's a product that, you know, and if you can't, you know, I would just tell my story, my doctor put me on it. But if you didn't have that story, you could just say, oh, my gosh, you know, I got on this product, and I've just gotten great results, and I'm just so glad I don't have to mix and match, and it costs a lot less. And what I'm not telling them at all what I'm taking. I'm telling them the benefits of what I'm taking. And then you're going to find that people are interested. It's kind of like what happened when we bought our car. That's the person that just quick started. His comment was his back hurt. He used to be a physical therapist. And I said, well, what are you doing? And he said that. And I said, well, I go, if I could, you know, maybe show you something that might help, you know, get to the symptom rather than covering up the problem, would you be interested? He's like, yeah. And that's all I said. I didn't tell him about Relive. I didn't tell him about my results. I didn't blast him. That was all I said. And so then we touched base a little bit. We actually gave him our website. He wanted to know what the products were. Sent him to our website. And then when someone comes back and says, oh, we looked at all the videos, and then they said, oh, we want to know more. And we did an appointment, and Brenda and Barbara Bonnet shared their stories. And I just think that sometimes there's two things. Number one, we say way too much, but number two, we don't say anything because we're so afraid of what someone else might think. And really, you have to get yourself out of the way if you want to move your business forward.
Absolutely. Great points. And, you know, you don't want to give them a presentation, but you don't want to not say anything either, like you said. And what a great way to do that, man. I'm glad I don't have to take all of those pills anymore. that's a great one-liner right there, and people are going to go, well, what are you doing? Well, how did you get away from those? And you know, people are looking for something healthier. They want to move away from the medical drugs and all of that stuff. They want something natural that can help them, but they don't know where to turn. So, perfect example. Thank you, Quila. So, again, your story is so important. It's the best tool that you have in your toolbox. Whether it's, you know what, I am using a product for prevention so that I don't get sick, so that I don't have aches and pains when I work at Disneyland, so that I can feel great, or whether it's, I'm using this because my foot hurt and my back hurt and now it doesn't. You know, whatever it is, your story is super important. Or you can share somebody else's story. I've got a friend in Oregon that has fibromyalgia and lupus, and she is symptom-free and has been for 28 years. You know, you guys, it's whatever it is in the situation, but don't be afraid to open your mouth. So let's get into the regular part of training. We're going to move through this pretty quickly. A lot of us have seen this a bunch, and feel free to chime in if there's something that you'd like to add in or share. How do we succeed? We do exactly what we were talking about. We share our story, we meet people, we get appointments. We do this over and over and over again, and it's the new people that are going to fuel our business. And we take those new people and we put them into those daily activities in the corporate support and that Relive system of business cycle. So first you want to identify. You want to write down people. You want to make a list of people you know, people that you know that hasn't heard about Relive. Or maybe they've heard about Relive, but they haven't heard about RLV. You guys, what a great opportunity we have to go back to people that we've already talked to, or maybe have even already been on the products, and go back to them with RLV. You want to connect with those people somehow. You want to talk to them at church, talk to them at a sporting event, talk to them at the grocery store, whatever, and your goal is to set an appointment. Of course, there's all sorts of opening sentences, but you guys, just be yourself. There's only one of you. Nobody else can be that because it's already taken. So just be yourself. And then when you're at that appointment, share the Relive story. Share your whole heart. Just let people know how passionate you are and how excited you are. You know, the excitement in your voice and the commitment in your voice is what they will hear. And the stories that you will get in front of them will be the things that will help them to want to be in Relive and want to try this. And share the Relive story. You can do it at events, you can do it at in-home parties, you can have CBD parties, you can have wine and cheese parties. Sounds like, I don't know if you guys already had that down there in Southern California or if that's still coming up, but that sounded like a lot of fun for people to come to. Be creative with it. Have fun with it. Relive is a fun business to do, so make it fun when you're presenting this. After you've told everybody, or the people that you're talking to, I mean, after you've told them everything and you've included everything from the Cologers Foundation to business opportunity to health results, all of that, we need to ask for a decision. That's super important, you guys. They're expecting you to ask, and they want to do something. If you just leave them hanging, that's awful. If you give them the information and you don't ask for that decision, business doesn't move forward if no product is sold. So ask for that decision. You can ask them where they want to get started or what they like best about what they heard. Super PACs, of course, are an easy way to do it. And sometimes people are going to want to look at different options: customer, distributor, master affiliate. And then ask them who they might know that needs this. And then register and go. You guys, it is so easy to sign somebody up in Relive. I mean, you can call in, you can do it on the computer, you can do it on your smartphone. You can even go back to the snail mail and fill out a form and send it in. I mean, there are so many ways that we have to sign somebody up. So don't be afraid to have that already and to just get them going right then. Because if they've got the desire and they've heard stories and they want to get involved, whether it's as a customer or a distributor or whatever, perfect time to do it. You don't want to let that fire go out and then go back to them. If they want to do the business, go back to the comp plan, talk that over with them, help them start to build their story bank, help them to build their list, all of those things that they need to do this as a business. Plenty of tools that Relive has given us. We've got the Relive system where we have conferences, special events. Does anybody have a special event coming up in their area? I know we've got a end of summer barbecue coming up this Tuesday. Does anybody have anything happening in their area that they would like to talk about?
I mentioned it at the beginning of the call, but Southern California is doing a wine, cheese, and CBD night this Tuesday night in Southern California in Garden Grove at our house. So
awesome.
It's going to be
that
fun.
Sounds like it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Hey, Roger. This is Sandy Sopko in Arizona.
Hi, Sandy.
We have a special event coming up next month. It's a big heads up. It's called Relive Westward Expansion. Val Moody and, gosh, I can't think.
Tom.
Oh, my gosh. Tom. Val and Tom Moody are going to be our guest ambassadors, and it will be October 18th and 19th in Gilbert, Arizona. So they'll be posting on the website about that. But it's going to be a Friday and a Saturday night, and it's very exciting to have a heads up this far ahead of time and plan.
Wow, that sounds like a fun event, and that's super good that you forgot Tom's name and that you remember.
I know,
Val's,
is that crazy?
That's just perfect. I wish I could get that info to them.
oh my gosh. No blackmail.
Well, let's be honest. Val's the brains of the operation on that deal, so that's a good thing.
Beauty before the brains.
That's right. That'll be a fun event. Anybody else?
Oh yeah. They will have special room rates at the Hyatt where it's going to be held, so it'll be listed on the website.
Oh, good. Okay. All right. We'll move on. So engage your team. Like I said, help them to develop a library of stories. Introduce them to people that can help them in their business. Help them to build those relationships and learn how to do three-way calls. You guys, when I first started, I didn't even know how to do a three-way call. I had to call my sponsor. The first time I had to do one, I had to call my sponsor and say, how do you do a three-way call? I don't even know how to do this on my home phone or my cell phone or anything. And we practiced for probably a good half hour calling, and then we'd hang up and call again and just trying to get it down so that I knew I wasn't going to drop the calls. So just help your people. You can introduce them to social media sites and set goals with them. Help them to know where they're going and help them to reach those goals and help them to know what they need to do that. And then we do it all over again with the next person. You identify, you connect, you share the story, you ask for a decision, you register and go, and you follow up with them. Just like Brenda was saying, that those stories are so important when you follow up to help them to use those products correctly, to learn how to tweak their products to help them to get the best results. You guys, it's been fun to do this training. I don't know if anybody has any questions or anything they would like to add. You're more than welcome to come on and share that right now. Let's see. I'm terrible at looking at the chat, so let's see what we have here. I know that there was something up in here. Anybody have any problems taking the CBD products back from Chicago? I know I didn't. Brenda wanted to know, Renee, what products your daughter was taking.
We started on, it was classic, and we used lemon energize. But when she switched to orange energize, the lemon just was a little too acidic for it. So she switched to orange. And then when we became master affiliates, so that was like in October, November, we became master affiliates in December. And she started adding the fiber store to her shake, and that is what really turned the corner for her. And she was a senior in high school, like I said. She was ASB president. She was super busy, and she would still have issues, but what she would do is come home on her lunch hour, take a shake, and just sit if, you know, her acid reflux started bothering her again. So it was really the basic, you know, now she uses Now Energize and Fiber Store. So that was,
great.
That Fiber Store, it's a biggie.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else have any questions or comments? Well, you guys, this has been fun. It's been my privilege to do this. And let me see if we can stop the recording.